I've got 2 degrees. Look at me, everybody. I've got 2 degrees, but I'll still spend 5 minutes pushing a door that clearly says pull. I'm so stupid. Okay,
Can you
recording.
repeat it? Repeat it.
Oh, look at me. I've got 2 degrees. I'm so clever. I can't fix the ring light after 7 blooming months. But I know how to pull a door that says push. And I'll stand there for 5 minutes trying to work it out. By my calculations. Yeah, okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, my hair looks nice.
So I was born in the People's Republic of Bulgaria.
We're boring the people. Yeah, you bored the entire nation?
I
can
was
quite
born.
believe-
I was born in the People's Republic of Bulgaria.
Yes, yes, he was. A long time ago. Do you know something? The other day someone called him an elder. Or elderly person.
And under socialism, the portraits of Marx and Engels, they always went in pairs.
Is that Richard Marx? Who had that song in the 80s?
Karl Marx,
I don't
Friedrich
know him.
Engels.
Does he sing or play an instrument?
Yes, the authors of Marxism. Anyway, their portraits were on the walls of the school where I was taught.
Oh.
And you open a newspaper, and on page one, guess what? Near the top, there is a portrait of Marx, Engels, and Lenin.
What was in page 3?
Not what was in Britain.
Was
There
it Samantha Fox?
Samantha Fox was never
Or
on
Linda
any
Lusardi?
page.
She was my favourite.
On page three,
Uh-huh.
when the Americans landed on the moon, on page 3, there was a very
That's
short notice with small print that the Americans have landed today on the moon. This is how
Small
it was.
print. It wasn't
Yes.
that special.
Well, of course not, because all the
Oh.
cosmic achievements belong to the Soviet Union, not to the Americans. The Americans were supposedly behind. Anyway, back to Marx. So Marx was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We were supposedly Marxists.
Mm-hmm.
And to explain who Marx is, his followers murdered something like 7 times more people than the followers of Adolf Hitler.
No way.
Yes, wait. I'm giving the numbers from Professor Rudolf Rummel, who is the authority on these things. He quotes the numbers in his works like Death by Government. So it's 76 million people exterminated in China, 62 million exterminated in the Soviet Union, and then under socialism again. Then more millions exterminated in Cambodia and Vietnam and Eastern Europe and Cuba and you name it. And how many were exterminated under Hitler, according to Professor Rummel? Somewhere in the vicinity of 21 million. So when you run the numbers, it turns out that the followers of Marx exterminated 7 to 8 times more people than the followers of Hitler.
Oh.
And imagine how offended and scandalized I am when I came to Britain and all of a sudden Marx is not a dirty word, but actually people study Marx and they are call themselves Marxist and they are proud of it.
Does anybody study Hitler over here?
Nobody.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if you could be a proud Marxist, you could surely be a proud Nazi or whatever. If Nazism is a dirty word, how could Marxism be acceptable? It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Well, that was my rant. Do you have anything to add?
Isaac Newton
Well, that's another short.
did our script.
Yeah, that's not in this script.
No, but you do hear people like maybe TikTok or YouTube today in Britain, 2026, in the last few years, who proudly say, oh, I study Marx and Engels were this and that. I have never heard or seen anybody say proudly, oh, I study National Socialism or I study or admire Hitler. That doesn't happen. That does it. Does it happen? It doesn't.
These are double standards.
And Stalin murdered, is it 3 times as many people as Hitler?
2.5
Oh, okay.
times more.
Okay.
For the Stalin, the estimate is around 50 million.
Mm-hmm.
For Hitler, like I said, is 21 million. 2.5 times more.
And also, if you create a short on YouTube or TikTok, and then for your description or maybe your like hashtags, if you try and put in Hitler, it won't even accept it at all. But if you put in Marx or Stalin, who obviously killed a lot more people, YouTube, TikTok, maybe other social media, I don't know, they accept it. They won't accept Hitler, but they accept those.
Well, strictly speaking, Marx didn't kill anybody we know of, but
Mm-hmm.
his followers did.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have to compare Marx to somebody among the Nazis, we should compare him maybe to Rosenberg, Alfred Rosenberg. But not many people would know who Alfred Rosenberg is.
I don't know who he is. Oh, did you see that? The screen glitched.
Yes, he was one of the ideologists. But the main ideologist of Nazism actually was Adolf Hitler. So
But he wasn't
we
a
could,
fan of Lenin.
we
Is that
could,
right?
yes, we
Okay.
could compare Hitler to Marx in this respect.
Oh, okay, right. Why is Hitler instantly a bad word? Instantly, like for example, I'm on YouTube quite a lot, and I do moderator for a few channels when they live stream, and there's always some attention-seeking person who will just randomly in the chat in the side margin type in Hitler or I love Hitler or something weird like that, and they automatically, the streamer or the moderators will just like block them or ban them. But if somebody says Hitler, if somebody says Stalin or Marx or Lenin even, nobody says it. Hitler is this automatic, instant bad word, this evil word.
Well,
There's more evil than him.
the explanation to this is that history is not about history. It's not about the past. It's just our projection to the past, the projection of our own ideals, our own values into the past.
I'm going to sneeze. Can I get a tissue? Oh, God.
Well, when people think of the history or study history or write about history, they don't care really about the past. They care about the present.
Mm-hmm.
They project their present ideas towards the past. This is how it works.
Mm-hmm.
As some say, history is written by the victors. That's the same idea, only different words are used. Or when George Orwell was saying that whoever controls the present controls the past, and whoever controls the past controls the future. That again is the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a Russian historian who says roughly the same thing. He says that all the monuments to historical figures are actually monuments to ourselves, because it is not about the historical figures. It's about what we want to celebrate, who we want to honor. Do you understand? It's all about us. So, why I'm saying this? Because today people want Hitler to be the ultimate evil. They don't want Lenin and Marx and Stalin to be the ultimate, or Mao to be the ultimate evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the explanation. It has nothing to do with the history. And this is, by the way, why everybody knows the name of Anne Frank. Nobody knows
Anne Frank.
Anne Frank, whoever.
Anne Frank, yeah.
But the point is, nobody knows the names of those millions of Ukrainian girls who were murdered in 1933. The vast majority haven't even heard of the Holocaust of the Ukrainian people.
Was this Holodomor?
Yes.
Millions of females, did you say?
Well, something like 7 million people were murdered by starving them to death, and half of them were women. And I guess a very large percentage of those women were of the age of Anne Frank. But nobody visits their houses,
No. Or
because
graves.
their houses are not in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about their houses, nobody celebrates them, nobody remembers a single name of those nameless millions of people who were murdered. I mean, I'm not against remembering the victims of Hitler, because Hitler was a mass murderer, one of the biggest. But there were two who were bigger than him, and nobody remembers them, Stalin and Mao.
We were in Amsterdam 5 or 6 years ago, and we were quite near the Anne Frank house. So I said, why don't we go a walk? And the queue for entry was around the block. It was all ticketed in advance. And it is nice that she's remembered, but like he said, there's also millions of other people who are not remembered, who don't have a monument or a house or a tourist attraction. And yeah, we should remember those.
Well, obviously we could not remember everybody who was murdered, because the number of those who were murdered in the 20th century alone is over 200 million people. Again, Rommel, led by government, and the other works he published while he was alive. But we should not have double standards. That's my point. I mean, if Hitler is evil, and he was evil, then Marx cannot possibly be good. I mean, if you think that studying Marx or following Marx is okay, then National Socialism must be okay. It's one or the other. You could not have it both ways. No, that's it.
Speaking of socialism, or speaking of National Socialism, and thinking about today here in the West, how it's usually like younger people with their ideologies. Is there a comparison between National Socialism and the woke people of today?
Well, if you look at this objectively, not through the prism of the present day biases, you could clearly see that there are at least 5 things that the National Socialists and the woke of today have in common.
Well, that's a big hand.
So they both play the victim card, they both practice cancel culture, they both shout down speakers, they both practice political intimidation of their opponents in the street, and they are both racists. The last is interesting, because everybody says, oh, what you're saying, the woke are against racism. Really? The woke actually divide people by the color of their skin. They judge them by the color of their skin. They categorize white people as privileged and non-white people as victims. Well, that's racism 101. And when people hear me saying these things, they say, how could you possibly compare the woke of today with the followers of Adolf Hitler, who murdered tens of millions of people? And by the way, it's not 6 million, they murdered way more.
21?
Around 20 million, yes, because 6 million were just the Jews. How could you compare the two? But remember, the followers of Adolf Hitler began murdering people only after they came to power in 1933. Before that, they were social justice warriors. And if something quacks like a duck and walks like a duck and is colored like a duck, it's probably a duck. And all this tells us that probably the woke of today are the real neo-Nazis, not those idiots who still make the National Socialist salute at football matches. So Newton is known as a physicist and physicist.
Easy for you to say, Mister, not drinking tap water tonight.
Physicist.
Physicist.
Well, that's my ability to speak English. That's not about what I'm drinking. Very few people remember that he was actually a policeman of sorts.
Oh.
And he excelled at that.
Uh-huh.
So when he was already famous and influential, I guess, he got this cushy job to be the head of the Royal Mint or something, whatever the name was at the time. I don't
Oh,
know.
I like mints. I like peppermint, but I don't like spearmint. It's a bit too strong, you know,
Well,
like chewing gum.
we are talking about making the coins, and counterfeit
Ah.
coins were all the rage at the time. I mean,
Mhm.
they were wrecking the British economy.
Oh.
But anyway, when Newton was appointed there, it was considered a cushy job, a sinecure job,
A what?
a sinecure job.
What's that? Coeur. Oh,
Well,
that's French for heart. Yeah, like the Sacré-Cœur in Paris. You can see it from the Eiffel Tower. Top floor.
that's a job when you get paid for not doing too much.
I
And
like your
not,
job.
I've had jobs like this, yes.
Mm.
And nobody expected that Newton will do anything. The idea was that he will receive some money for doing nothing.
Mhm.
But actually, Newton, surprisingly, took it very seriously, and he began actually reforming not just the way the Royal Mint was working, but he was actually the instrument in prosecuting many of those who were counterfeiting coins at the time.
Mhm.
And many people were actually punished because of his activities. So Newton turned out to be quite a policeman,
Mm.
very efficient. Well, there are other things that are curious about Newton, but
Hold on.
never mind
Is he the
that.
guy? Was he a policeman of gravity? Is that him?
He was catching, what's the name of these people?
Apples. He was catching apples.
No, he was catching counterfeiters. Counterfeiters? Is
Yeah,
this a word?
counterfeiter. Yeah, you could say
Yeah.
that.
He was
Well, I
catching
would know.
counterfeiters. And many of them, if I remember correctly, went to the gallows.
Mm.
He was efficient. I don't know whether all of them were guilty. I'm not an expert.
Well,
when
you
it
weren't
comes
there
to
at the
Newton.
time. How would you know?
Yes.
Is it gallows? Was that when they? Is that like no? Hold on. Is that hanging or guillotine?
Hanging.
Okay.
Of course, whatever we say about Newton today is influenced by who Newton was, what he was significant with, which is
Apples.
his.
I bet you he was friends with Mr. Hold on, I need to edit that out. I bet he was friends with Miss. Oh my goodness. I bet. Okay, I've lost my teeth. Hold on. I bet he was friends with Mr. Kipling, and they baked apple pies together. Mr. Kipling baked apple pies. I can't speak. And
Mhm.
Newton provided the apples, and Mr. Kipling the pastry, and the rolling pin. Like Andy Cap. Remember Andy Cap and his wife?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, you do.
Because I didn't grow up in,
Oh, okay.
in Britain. Newton was full of contradictions and weird characteristics.
Apples.
He was also vindictive. He was small-minded. For example, he discovered the calculus simultaneously. That's a field in mathematics. The calculus independently of Leibniz, a German.
Leibniz. Is that like headlights? And if they're live,
Leibniz.
they're Leibniz.
And Newton was very vain, and he wanted to be acknowledged as the sole discoverer of calculus, although he was not the sole discoverer. And he was playing these games. I don't remember the details, but it's pathetic. In many respects, he was pathetic. I mean, it's weird how somebody could be so great and so small at the same time, and he was that. But many of those big geniuses, in their personal lives, they were really horrible people. And who are we to judge? We have achieved nothing. They have achieved so much. We live in their shadow. We actually should be should be grateful because our world would not be the same without them.
I'm grateful for apple pie. However, I'm not really like a cream or a whipped cream person, but apple pie or apple crumble is lovely, especially just now in the winter.
The whole thing with the apple is may not even be true. With the apple that falls from the tree and all of a sudden Newton says, wow, gravity. Because Newton was using the works of Galileo Galilei.
From Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, Galileo,
Yeah, the same
Galileo,
Galileo.
Figaro.
Yes.
Yes, I knew it.
And Galileo was using the data provided by Tycho Brahe, who was a Bohemian present-day
Rhapsody?
Czech astronomer. So without Tycho Brahe, we wouldn't have Galileo, and without Galileo, we wouldn't have Newton. And without Newton, we wouldn't have many things.
As the devil put aside for me, for me, for me. I can't do the high notes, I'm not that gifted, sorry. I'm just trying to add something. You can continue.
Well, that was it.
Okay.
I don't know much about Newton, but I know much about socialism and Marx. I was raised on Marx, and it's disgusting that Marx is popular today in the West. Clearly, people don't even understand what Marxism is. They project their own ideas of justice, of whatever that is in their small brains onto Marx, and they imagine that socialism is this utopia where people are equal and everything is fair. Socialism is nothing of the kind. I mean, that's like describing rape as romantic love. There's nothing of the kind. There is no such thing as romantic rape or consensual rape. There is no such thing. Just like there is no such thing as consensual or just socialism. It has never happened. Every time socialism has been attempted, it's always associated with mass graves, mass murder, secret police. This is what taking away of the private property and the free market leads to. And by the way, this is what socialism is. This is how Marx described it, and this is the accepted definition. Socialism is government ownership of the means of production. In other words, no free market, no private property. Every time this has been attempted, it has led to mass murder and secret police. This is how it works. Just like every time rape has been attempted, it has been traumatizing and damaging. It has never been just or romantic or whatever. I mean, this is ridiculous. After the experiment has been done, the data is out there. We know what Marxism is and what Marxism leads to. I will not even go into the theoretical things about Marx because they're irrelevant. We have experimental data. Something like 150 million people paid with their lives so that we can obtain this data, what Marxism actually is. We know what it is. It's mass murder. This is what Marxism is. So if you don't like Hitler, you cannot possibly like Marx. If you like Marx, you must be fans of Adolf Hitler. It's the same thing. Interestingly, see, I was running the numbers and I encountered something curious. What was the rate at which they were exterminating people in National Socialist Germany and under Soviet socialism? It turns out that the rate is similar, somewhat similar. Now it's difficult to make the calculations, and here's why. To begin with, National Socialist Germany existed from 1933 to 1945, which is, 12 years?
12 years, yeah.
12 years. The Soviet Union existed for 70-something years. Soviet Union exterminated something like 62 million people, which is around 1 million per year. National Socialist Germany is something like 21 million, which is more like 2 million per year. And you would say, yeah, the rate at which they were exterminating people in Nazi Germany was higher. But it's not that simple, because most of the people exterminated under Soviet socialism were exterminated under Lenin and Stalin. And these 62 million, when you calculate them against the time Stalin was in power, Lenin was in power for a short time. But by the way, the extermination rate under Lenin was exactly the same as under Stalin. It dropped under Khrushchev and Brezhnev after this. So it's roughly 2 million per year. 2 million per year in the Soviet Union and in National Socialist Germany. Until Khrushchev, that is, when the numbers dropped. But we don't know, because Nazi Germany was, the development of Nazi Germany was fortunately cut short. So we don't know what would have happened when Hitler was no longer in power. Maybe they would have had their Khrushchev, I don't know. It's quite possible. Anyway, let's not speculate. Let's focus on what actually happened. So, Soviet Union under Stalin and Lenin, 2 million per year. National Socialist Germany under Hitler, 2 million per year. Roughly the same. Of course, there were peaks and lows. For example, in the Soviet Union in 1933 alone, they exterminated something like 7 million, but that was the absolute peak. In National Socialist Germany also, they were not exterminating many people between 1933 and 1939. So that is why it's hard actually to calculate it, to compare apples and pears, but still the numbers are similar under both types of socialism. Bottom line, you cannot like one socialism but dislike the other. Doesn't make sense. I mean, that's like saying, I don't know, I like rapists who speak this language but not this language. I mean, doesn't make sense. Rape is rape, and murder is murder. Socialism murders people in large numbers, so socialism is bad. If you think that murdering people is okay, then socialism is okay. That's my logic.